If I see one more viral Instagram post about some rich kid who's never driven on a track in their entire life, almost crashed their car on a track just to say, don't buy Pirellis, they're trash. And folks agree with them just because it went viral, I'm lining up for a professional slap match, okay? Tires are big black chunks of rubber that have an insurmountable amount of marketing dollars and as such have become the absolute worst thing to buy because they all use the same terms that mean everything and nothing. In fact, only 17% of tire dealers in the industry think that the existing tier rankings accurately represent the quality of brands available in the marketplace, and 82% said that those rankings were either inaccurate or useless. They say things like high silica compound. Okay, sure. Whatever that means. Ultra high performance all season summer tire with winter tire capabilities and Ultra 4 super season super mountain rated. What in the Bobby Hill is even that? Okay, so since we're MartiniWorks, we are going to build a tire brand pyramid, which might make some people and brands, to be honest, a little bit nervous, okay? But that's why we do what we do, to help you modify your car the right way, with the right parts. Consider it the homie hookup, because that's exactly what we're doing this entire month for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So you can get your tires at the lowest prices. Plus, we just launched new discounts if you package wheels and tires together. They get shipped to your door. It kind of makes us the coolest people ever. Self-labeled. Our pyramid will be like our wheel one, but with all of these brands. And we're going to be basing their tier on, number one, usability to their quoted strength. Is their summer tire really a good summer tire? Is their all season really a good all season? What's their quality assurance like with balancing and wear? Or they just hope you never talk to them? We're also going to be looking at the price and production quality, not just what's expensive, but what brands truly have the best value for the amount that you're spending. Then post-purchase support and research and development. How do they figure out how to make their tires? Are they just copying homework, or are they building their own compounds and treads based on some sort of market or racing involvement? And finally, our experience with the tires. Now, we're not quite exactly as intricate as the tire review guys, because those guys are insanely detailed, but with over 50 years of combined experience on driving pretty much every single one of the tires we're about to talk about, we've found brands that are absolute sleeping bangers and ones that are overrated marketing brands with no actual performance on the tires. Now, is this how suppliers rate their tires? No, it's not. They would rate their tiers through marketing spend, logistics, OE, and dealer support. This is true news. And great news, none of that matters to us, besides if a tire is available. Honestly, when we're ranking this, we're ranking it for you. So if we hurt anyone's feelings, I'm sorry. And you are more than welcome to give us your ratings to the brands below by using the template in the description. And if you want to learn more about any of these brands, we'll link it down there as well. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm Alex. Let's get into this. So starting off with tier 4, or our entry level tier. These are tiers that you'll typically see more value focused, often have less to no R&D. They use fewer compound design elements and usually have less actual material in the tire. They feature less sizes, silica, and intentional purpose. And these here will be good for being a tire, like they roll. So for that, we have brands like Lexani, Greenbow, Linglong, Westlake, Carlisle, Hercules, Atsu, Ironman, Federal, Uniroyal, and Sumitomo. They nearly made it to tier 3. Brands like Uniroyal are interesting since it does sit under the Michelin and Goodrich in many ways, but it's positioned exclusively as a value brand. I had a tire factory in my hometown of Eau Claire, Wisconsin, was a Uniroyal factory. They got shut down because they made the wrong decision on radial versus non-radial tires. Fun fact. And tier 4 doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad brand, but for us and for the people that like to slam their cars and be silly little idiots on the racetrack, this really isn't the brand for you. It might be better and could sit at the top of the tier, but most people watching this, that's not really gonna be the point. Now, Sumitomo historically has been an OEM supplier with some decent engineering pedigree, especially outside of the US, but it's still not really enough to move them into that tier 3 level. You'll find some drift tires in here too, mostly Ironman, and if you're a bit older, you'll remember the brand Federal before they got shut down by the anti-dump tariffs. Now, both tires do great for drifting, mostly because they can get warm and they have a good chunk of rubber in the mold. After driving on both, we really enjoy what Ironmans can do, and we have to give a special call out to Westlake as well. A lot of times when people hear these brands, if they're drifting on them, it's just important to remember if it can heat cycle and it's got a bunch of tread or it has a bunch of rubber, it's gonna be a good drift tire. Now jumping into tier 3, we've got brands that are a bit more mid-premium and performance accessible. I'd say brands in here are really good at like a decent 1 or 2 things, whether that's longevity, or they have a motorsport tire that works well, or they maybe have a warranty, or they have something that's really good in the all season or winter. Nevertheless, they're good at 1 to 2 things. And I would say these brands we start to offer on our website because they are properly good. I'm gonna try and dodge strays out here with this disclaimer, but I would really say these brands belong here. Vogue, Nankang, Kenda Tire, closer to the top of the list, Nexen, Cooper Tires, and Kumho. Vogue is a luxury-oriented tire brand, but they hit a niche that no one really takes care of anymore, so they deserve a little bit of love. Nankang is actually making super popular budget track tires, like the NS2R and their more daily driver NS25. It's actually a pretty solid tire. They're transparently getting a lot better too, and they've launched a warranty with some of their tires, which I think is great. But we're still waiting for the consistency of the tire to improve just a touch. We've mounted plenty of these over the years, and some tires come to us a little bit more out of round than we would like, which tells us that they're not checking every tire that comes out of their factory. Now, Kenda tires we love. The KR28 200 treadwear is a glorious tire for drifting with cars that have more than 300 horsepower. That heat cycles super well, but outside of that, they're still learning how to make a tire that can do it all. The tires are a bit loud for normal driving, and the wet conditions aren't really great for this. We run Kendas on our R34, and that's been our experience on them, but they are solid, good drift tires. I will also say we're looking at this from like a passenger car perspective, a sports car perspective, a daily driver car perspective. Some of these brands have a tire line that's gonna sit in a much different tier than what we're talking about here in the car side of things. I will also say the KR28 does make a pretty decent grip tire for autocross if you're looking for something a little bit different. Nexens are great for daily drivers and budget builds, especially on your GR86 platform. I drifted on the SU1s and actually enjoyed them, but they can be a little bit pricier for just burning them off at a drift session. So I would say if you can find one on a good deal, it's a good one. Cooper is a tougher brand, but they've still got some good ones out there if you need some older size tires and styles. The Coopers I used to run on my Z were good. They had like the embossed Cooper on the side, and I thought it looked really cool, but I'm pretty sure everybody just thought I was a 70-year-old man when I drove the car. Another brand that really sits at the top of tier 3 would be Kumho, and it could be argued that they belong in tier 2. That's the great news about tires, is it's all about your experience. Kumho has been getting better and better every year. And as a South Korean brand, they've launched 4 new tires this year alone. They've secured OE partnerships with Hyundai, Nissan, Volkswagen, and Genesis. The Exta line has a warranty now, and the V730 is a great performance summer tire as long as you never really try to look for water. Their price points are good, and they're continuously investing in making better tires. Really, if you're hearing a tire brand in this tier list, they're probably all pretty good. We really try to avoid brands that have absolutely no history, or they're just fighting to be all the way at the bottom. So at least you can know that even a tier 3 can be a good tire. Now jumping into tier 2, as somebody who's sold tires for a really long time, I'm gonna be honest, everybody that sells tires, those guys, these are the brands, they would tell me at dinner that they're tier 1, okay? A lot of my friends, that they're not gonna wanna hear their name on the list. Listen, Alex, I love you, but we really see ourselves as a tier 1, said the tier 2 company. Okay, I put folks here mostly because nearly every tire in here has a premium and enthusiast trust in the market. Most of these that you're gonna hear are well established. They have active motorsport links across multiple motorsport types. They have their own independent research and development, with some that we've seen firsthand here in the United States. They have good warranties and have justified a higher cost. And we give this tier 2 General Tire, Hoosier, Mickey Thompson, Nitto, Falcon Tire, Toyo Tires, Yokohama Tire, Goodyear, and Bridgestone. General Tire starts this list off because it's under the family of Continental, and we've been massively impressed by the quality of the G-Max RS, both on and off the track. We put those tires on 250 horsepower rear-wheel drive Skylines and 600 horsepower M5s, and it doesn't let up in either condition. The warranties are super good, and the price point is super solid. They are a little niche on the passenger car side versus truck side, but they're made in the same factories as Continental, and the quality, in our opinion, is just as good. Hoosier and Mickey Thompson are a bit more niche than broad as well, but in the aftermarket sports car world, these are the semi-race slicks and absolute insane tires that are probably some of the best in their niche. Mickey Thompson on the street side isn't quite as strong as we'd like it to be, so we're actually gonna be testing more of those in 2026. Hoosier, they're Hoosier. I mean, they're on our PFM, and once you get a lap or two into them, they pretty much can You could drive that car, I'm pretty sure, in a tunnel upside down. I don't know how those tires stay as gripped up as they do, but it is not a street tire. I don't care. They're a fantastic tire. Nitto in here as well. It's an Enthusiast brand, and honestly, they might be one of the most well-rounded tire brands out there for us. They've got everything all the way up into the big SUV performance sizes. They have squared off sidewalls that make it look all race carish. They have different treadwear ratings, which is really nice, and the compounds are actually pretty fantastic. I would like to give a shout out to the Nitto Neogen for helping stance kids everywhere, and the Nitto NT555 G2 just for looking absolutely sick. All Nittos pretty much look sick. And to some people that does matter, like how a tire looks does make a difference. Now Falcons are up here too. The RT615K Plus is made with pixie dust and George Clooney's gray hair. It's borderline perfect street 200 treadwear tire you can buy. I mean, they have standout value and grip for the money. And the grassroots support for this brand would probably cause a riot if the country happened to ban this brand. Now, I really love to see them in motorsports again, but I'll take the FK510 and the RT660 as a gift in the meantime. One thing to keep in mind here is that Falcons do have a ton of models since they're so specific in their usage. So try to buy what you need versus what you want. There's a lot of different versions. We made a video on this. Toyo Tires shares the same pants as Nitto, and they have some really good performance heritage. Their consistency is great, their price point and their model lineups work fantastic, and the Extenda HP2 is my favorite little tire for Miatas ever, especially as a daily driver. Now, something interesting to note though is you're gonna see that Nitto is getting very enthusiast driven, and Toyo's OE sizing is actually getting a little bit more factory sided. And that's actually intentional. They're trying to split up those brands a little bit more because Toyo does have obviously things like the R888R that looks super great, but honestly, it's a very dated design, it's a very dated compound, it's very dated everything, and I really wouldn't recommend that tire. Their OE stuff is absolutely fantastic, and if you want a more enthusiast-driven tire, my recommendation is to spend more time in the Nitto side. Yokohama's been a new brand that we've had the chance to spend a ton of time with, and honestly, I've really enjoyed driving on Yokohama tires. I've enjoyed testing them out in their smaller sizes, like the AO52s that are on the 240Z, and some of their bigger stuff. Even when I was out at Fuji Speedway in January, I got to drive a GTR R34 on Fuji Speedway. It was about 40 degrees, 45 degrees, and the tires did an excellent job getting me around that track. One of my favorite things about Yokohama tires is that they do have a predictability to them. The compound and the R&D that they put into these tires makes the performance of the tire very consistent throughout the use of the tire. And this is something that I would also give to Bridgestone as well. More specifically, that RE71 RS stands out as almost like a flagship tire. Predictable, usable, fantastic value per dollar, great sizes, continuously invested in by the brand, and they do an overall really great job. And both Yokohama and Bridgestone also have street tires that are not just 200 treadwear Track Maniac tires, and those tires are also equally really good. A lot of these brands also have warranties that go along with the tires, which honestly is really nice, and if you don't use it, you really should. It's one of the best things about some of this. I'd also give it over to Goodyear as well. Goodyear is a legacy brand, especially in the United States, and they've been spending a lot more time with trying to get people to know them again. What I can say is they kind of make it tough to compare to some of the newer, younger brands that have spent a lot of time in the Tier 2 space, but I would argue that with a Goodyear, especially on the street side, I don't think you're gonna have a bad time. And finally, Tier 1. Each one of these brands actually sit in this position for slightly different reasons. We tried to keep it very, very specific. We know that other brands can sit in this space, but we do want to say that in the Tier 2 space is really where you're going to find the best value per dollar. The Tier 1 space, these are tire brands that do well almost in every element of how you would rate a tire. They've got good weather performance, they've got good winter performance, they've got good summer performance, they've got good global distribution, they've got good sizes, they have continuous R&D. A lot of the brands I'm about to mention actually have their own unique R&D funnel to get data, whether they're official partners for IMSA or they work in WEC or they work in something in between. So the first brand we're going to talk about is Pirelli. Now, Pirelli is a brand in America that doesn't actually get a whole ton of attention, but globally, Pirelli is an incredibly popular brand. The one thing that makes Pirelli incredibly special is actually their sizes. The sizes of different types of Pirelli tires are huge for a very unique consumer. They make tires that pretty much nobody else does, and they do a really good job with it. I actually ran the Pirelli Winter Satoro 03s, I think they're called, in 2 winters, and they were by far one of the best winter tires I had ever ran before. Pirelli is also an OE supplier for a lot of higher end exotic cars, and that should speak to quite a bit of their skill set. A lot of the R&D that they take away from motorsport you may have heard of, which is Formula One, actually goes into the development of a lot of their higher end street tires. The only thing is you're spending a lot of money on Pirellis and the Pirelli name. So my recommendation is that you're buying Pirelli because you need it, not really because you want it. Because honestly, like I said before, a lot of the tier 2 brands can do that. The second one on the list would be Continental Tire. And I'm not just saying that because we have a really close and awesome relationship with Continental. Continental has continuously shown us that they are a properly good tire. Across the board, they've got great tires for the street, great tires for the track. They're actually involved in series that you may not have heard of before, like WRL Racing Series, and they do a really good job at trying to support people with having the longevity of a tire and having support all the way through that. They have warranty programs, they have roadside assistance programs, they have replacement programs, they have trial programs where you can drive on the tires for a really long period of time, and if you don't like them, you can actually hand them back. The consistency and quality and R&D of these tires is also equally good. When we went to go spend time in the United States actually to watch the process of a tire being made, it's pretty incredible the amount of quality control that Continental puts into their tires to make sure that what we get when we go to mount a tire onto your wheels at MartiniWorks.com doesn't end up needing 6 ounces of weight to balance the whole thing out. And you have to remember, tires are round, guys. Contrary to popular belief, this just doesn't magically become round because of the way that it is. There's weight in this, and different parts of this can have different inconsistencies, and you need to balance that out when you throw a set of wheels and tires on your car. That's what balancing does. It doesn't just balance the wheel, it balances the tire. The more weight you have on there, typically you would say that there's less quality assurance. I'm gonna be honest, when I saw how many they reject to get redone and actually rebalanced through, it was pretty impressive. The Extreme Contact Sport 02 and obviously the DWS 06 Plus are probably 2 of our favorites, but the Viking Contact 8 is a new winter tire that we had the chance to actually drive on last year, and it was insane at how much grip you have as a winter tire. It's like my brain cannot even process it. Finally, number 1 has to go out to Michelin Tire. Now, this is kind of a fun one because I've noticed on the World Wide Web that the internet almost likes to talk poorly about popular things. It's like this anti-culture of, if we talk bad about the good things and we talk good about the bad things, we'll get more attention. Michelin Tire has been around for a very, very long time. And the Pilot Sport family is probably where they put most of their love for people like you and people like me. The Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2, the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S, the Michelin Pilot Sport 5S that's sitting on new OE BMWs are fantastic tires. They're also a dedicated tire supplier through races like IMSA and the World Endurance Championship globally. They spend time taking all of that data from Daytona and Le Mans and putting it into street tires that you and I get to use every single day. They make global tires too. They make them everywhere. America, Mexico, China, everywhere you could possibly imagine, they probably have a factory for. And a lot of the data that they use for those different sort of geographical locations actually go directly into the tire. Now, you're gonna remember when I've talked about tires in the past that they almost have like the spider graph. And one of the things that I like about the tier 1s that we just talked about is that they really do a good job at filling out that entire spider graph. Now, there might be other tires in the tier 2 space that are actually better in a specific point than a tier 1 tire. But I want to get your head away from thinking that if it's really good at one thing, it is better than the entirety of another tire. Remember, tires have to perform in a variety of different conditions. And when you're looking for the best, you want a tire that can do the best in every condition. And the Michelin family does a really good job at making tires that can do just about anything very, very, very well for almost any application, any type of car, at any type of horsepower, at any part of the world. And that is why we put Michelin in the tier 1 list. But you have to let me know if you agree. And remember, if you're looking for tires or wheel and tire packages this November, you can actually get the Homie Hookup and get deals on these very tires over at MartiniWorks.com. We're only doing deals on the products and brands that actually matter, because we hate seeing a million deals, because quite honestly, it makes my mind explode. So if you're looking for help to figure out what tire size you need for your car or SUV or performance SUV, you can shoot us a message over at MartiniWorks.com. And of course, let me know if you disagree. I'm sure some of you will. But I'm Alex Martini. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you tomorrow.